two, one.
Wake
Wake
up!
up!
Good
Little
morning,
Wayne's World
everyone. Good morning,
reference
Mr.
for you
Curtis.
all. Good morning, Mr.
Wake
Tuttle.
up!
I'm
How are
I'm
you?
waking up. I'm waking up. How are you?
I'm doing awesome.
Oh
I'm
my
here with you.
God.
How could I not be? How
Oh,
does it
it's
get even
so
better?
good. It's so great. It's about to get wild because Cassie, my wife, is still asleep in the room next door. I patted all of the doorways, but I'm sure she's waking up to this right now, to our booming voices in the world. So she's either gonna love me or hate me this morning. Good
But wait,
morning, Jack.
wait. There's
Okay,
no
okay, go.
better way to wake up than to us.
I mean,
Come on.
hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Only on Wednesdays does she get a 2-for-1 special. Okay, Cassie?
You
Come
know
on.
what? That's true. She's getting double value. So,
Exactly.
you know,
Hi,
it's all
Betsy.
about getting out of your own way and receiving love this morning. Betsy,
Totally.
Golner, Jack, we're so happy to have all of you here this morning. We just want to tell us where you're coming from. Run Dog
Yeah.
325, wherever you're listening in to from, please tell us and tell us one thing that you're grateful for. And let's
Yes.
start that. Daniel, while they're doing that, what are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for creativity.
Mm,
Today, I am feeling so inspired to be and to invite more creativity in my life.
yes.
Obviously, as an actor where I came from in those days, creativity was kind of my norm, but it's kind of been something that I don't think that I've been giving much energy to, and I miss it so much. Like I'm talking like visual creativity, like art, like pottery, like whatever. I'm just so curious.
Mm.
Run, dog, run. Good morning. We are grateful for you for another day and to
To
hard
work.
work and that you love what you do. How awesome.
That is,
Exactly.
thank you so much for saying that. There's so
Yeah.
many men who have spent, a lot of people have wasted so much of their life trying to do what they think we should do in order to get the thing, in order to then receive the validation. And there's so many people I work with, and I say men, especially men, because the guys who have programmed that they have to carry all the weight and support the family and all the things we've made up about ourselves and been taught by society
Hmm.
that we have to do to get validation.
Right.
And then they get all those things and it's totally not, they're miserable, right? So you live
Right.
once and you can choose to do what you love. You could ask yourself, why would I do anything I'm not loving? And
Exactly.
and what I used to come up against is, well, how do I choose? Like, I love all these different things. I love acting. I love coaching. I love healing. I love playing music. And so many groups I used to be a part of would say, well, you're just a dabbler then, like master of none, right?
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, master of none. And I would own that. I'd be like, yes, I'm the Jack. But I always felt less than. I felt like there was
They always
something
said that
wrong
to me
with
too.
me that I couldn't
Yeah.
focus on one thing. It's
Yeah.
like,
Focus, Daniel. Land the plane.
yeah, why
Come
can't you
on.
just choose one thing?
Why can't you just choose one thing and stick to it?
Yeah. And
But
what I
but
love
Ben,
about,
we have such a gift. We
yeah,
can do it
okay.
all.
Well, and so can everyone. But I don't know if people
Of
know that.
course.
That's one thing I love about Daniel, about you, is that you inspired me as an actor and as a creator and a performer, and then this incredible world of intuition and access consciousness and theta healing that you're doing, and how you're leading humanity to awaken our own energy and awaken our own potential. And you truly have done that for me. And I felt like I've been unleashed even more so since we met. And it's all about out creating our lives and getting rid of all those
Absolutely.
beliefs, right, that no longer serve you. So, what are the
Judgments.
things,
Yeah.
Daniel, that you had? What were the judgments you had about yourself that kept you from doing this? And what was the break that had you like finally take the lid off and step in your power and create the provocative intuitive?
Well, I think the first one that really got to me when I was in kindergarten was when I was told I couldn't play with Barbies. That was something that really fucked me up.
Yeah. Who told you
Okay?
that?
A lot of people. I
Everybody.
brought I brought my strawberry shortcake to show and tell one day in kindergarten. It was like never
Mm.
the same. You know what I mean?
in South Florida, right?
In Central Florida.
In
Yeah,
Central
exactly.
Florida.
Uh-huh. And I recognized then, wait, and at such a young, vulnerable age,
Mm,
it's so easy to judge ourselves as wrong. I was like, oh, something must be wrong about me. And then I had to hide who I really, really was
mm.
just because I wanted to play with Barbies. Oh my God, please. You know? So
And we're not born
then I
that
think,
way. Someone tells us
no,
that, right?
always,
We're born
exactly.
full of
It's
infinite potential, and then we listen to it, and then we believe it.
exactly. And also, I think too, Ben, that same whole concept and idea of as we grow older, trying to fit into these boxes of what other people want us to be, is so easy. And I started performing when I was really, really young. I was really young and I started performing and I loved it so, 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 so much because I
Mm,
could express things. I could express energy that I was too afraid to communicate, let's say, to anyone else
mm,
or to just, you know, with friends. Um, it allowed me this space to kind of like get on stage, to be a different person, to express myself in a different way. I was really into music. I was so funny. I've been thinking about my elementary school music teacher a lot, Mrs. Golden, Mrs. Richards, actually. And I was, just so grateful for somebody like her who was really, really the support to say, yeah, you can do anything you want. You can
yes,
be anything you want. You don't have
yes.
to judge yourself or whatever. And I think at the time she was probably the only African American woman for like miles and miles and miles.
Mm,
And I just loved her and I resonated with her and I felt so close to her. And she really gave me the space to really, really be me,
mm.
and I've been so grateful for her. And my whole life, Ben, I think that's always been something that I've kind of played with. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this and I have to do this because this is what it said and I have to do this and la la la. And finally I think it was really during the pandemic that I was like, hmm, I can just be me. I can really, really just be me because I've always been one of those people that's done so many different things. And during the pandemic, I was like, okay, hey, you know what? What fills me up? And what fills me up and what gives me excitement? What at the end of the day makes me feel like I have contributed to my life and to the lives of those around me with ease, joy, and glory.
Mm.
And that's really, really when I think I realized that I could definitely have it all. You know what I mean, Ben?
Yeah.
Um, but definitely so many judgments and points of views we take on in our lives that make us think it. Even
And
recently
yeah.
in where I am now, and I've started to desire to be creative again, like desire to perform or desire to write, and I haven't done that in quite some time. And it's like, hey, yeah, why the hell not? You know what I mean? Why the hell not? Go do everything.
Daniel, I
You
love
know what I'm
this, and
saying?
I'm really pinpointing that part of like what had you turn around, because what I'm seeing is, how much of us don't give ourselves that permission. And one thing I just asked, and I'd like, if you're listening, I'm going to type this on Facebook and YouTube as well, is to type the name, say the name of the person who told you you can do it all. If there's one person in your life, I want you to type their name. I'm gonna write mine down. Their name was I gotta spell it right. Robert Clark. Um, and Daniel, Robert Clark was my elementary school teacher. And
Really?
yeah, and Robert came from, God, I don't know, maybe Kansas or something, but he was like this hippie white dude in the South. And he came in, he made us take our shoes off, and he taught every kid there. By the way, we acknowledged all races. The school really, it was an Episcopal school in Chattanooga, and my dad was a part of it. But something, I don't know how they did it, but this school had 6 or 7 different races. We went to church every morning in this chapel, but we celebrated every single religion, and we all learned at our own pace too. Like I remember, I didn't even learn multiplication tables till I was in 5th or 6th grade, and math became
That's
my
so
greatest
cool.
subject in high school, by the way. But I had a
Wow.
learning disability, right? And I learned differently. That's all it is. I needed different time. But we had this teacher who said, no kid, he said that even this young girl came in. I remember she was like 5 years old, and she was like, "My dad told me I'm tone deaf," and he was like, "Who said that?" She was like, "My dad." He was like, "Let," and he like stopped us all. He was like, "You are not." I mean, I remember this like, 20, 40,
Wow.
35 years ago. He said,
Yep.
every sound is beautiful. Every one of you are able to do this. And he sat us down at a piano and showed each child that they had a voice. And he really learned how to see that and nurture that and connect
Wow.
to the earth. And it was such a nurturing soul. And hindsight, he got arrested for pot right after I did for cannabis.
No way.
Some teacher in the South reported him for growing his own, and he actually has a chronic condition where cannabis is the most healing thing for his body. It allows him to eat, to stay alive, to be pain free.
Wow.
And so we had this running joke, and then like 20 years later, we finally reunited and like smoked a joint together. And um, but he's one of the most healing people in my life, and I've befriended him and stayed really really close with him still. And so I just, you sharing that really unleashed that story for me. Like after my father
Yeah.
passed, and even right before that, I started seeking out the people in my life, like our childhood. The woman used to clean our house, to Betty McCann, who would come over and she'd sing gospel, and my dad would say, "Please turn up your gospel." And she was in the gospel church, so she would belt while she was cleaning, and she'd made my
Wow.
favorite cake every year. And I started trying to find these people. I just found out that she's left this physical world, but there's so many people in our life that we can honor. And so I just think it's so beautiful to say their name.
That's so cool that you said that because I was actually thinking to look up my music teacher, my elementary school music teacher too.
Mm.
And I wondered, I don't know about you, but I have this thing that's like, I think I want to leave my memories the way they are. I don't want to find out that something horrible happened to her or whatever.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, that's okay
That's an
too.
expectation or whatever.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I mean,
Totally.
you don't have to go seek these people out, right? It was like,
No, but I want
oh
to. I
yeah.
want to totally. You know what I mean? My cousin is here. Hi, Austin.
Hello, bring it family in. Um,
Exactly.
I want to, there's some beautiful comments here. Hi, Jeffrey. It's so good to have you here. Got some regulars coming back. We're really excited to see you. Run Dog said, it took a pandemic to teach us, to force us to teach deep inside of ourselves to discover our passion. I would say to look deep yeah, maybe to look deep inside of ourselves, because we've all had to
Wow.
stop. We've all gotten to grieve together, as a
Yeah, of
planet and
course.
look at ourselves. And I think that's so beautiful. What a beautiful insight. Um,
So
Adrian
true.
said, "My dad is that person for him."
That's
And
awesome.
how lucky are you? How blessed are you that you
Exactly.
have that positive role model to encourage that in you? That's still so rare.
Exactly.
Like the doll thing. I mean, you could have been the next, great Steve McQueen, Daniel. Like the designing, if that had been nurtured. Like I remember my sister actually bought me a Michael Jackson
Uh-huh.
action figure when I was 4. And like he was kind of effeminate for a guy then, and
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
all about
totally.
him. And I guess it wasn't a Barbie, but I realized no one told me that was wrong. I remember thinking like I
Right.
shouldn't, but because I had a big sister, like I totally got to play with her stuff. But you didn't, right? You're an
Yeah,
only
yeah.
child,
I'm
and
an
so
only child,
there's
but I have to
focus.
say I have an aunt who's not much older than I am. Well, she's 14 years older than I am, but she was like my big sister, and it was actually her
Oh,
Barbies that I stole to play with. So
that's great. I
yeah,
stole a lot of
totally.
kids' dolls too. It's okay.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And Run Dog
Yeah,
said
yeah,
Diane
yeah.
Ho, and he still stays in touch with her after 28 years. That's awesome. Jeffrey
Wow.
MCP said Jeff Warren from the Calm app and Dr. James Maskalike. Um, Honeshell. Okay, that was the actual word. Um, uh, and Jeffrey said the anniversary. Oh, the 13th was the anniversary of his brother's death. So I wonder, Jeffrey, is your brother that person for you? And Jeffrey also said he brought his Cabbage Patch Kid.
I had a Cabbage Patch Kid too.
Those are
My
awesome.
grandmother made it for me. She was so cute. And she was so cute. She made it for me and she made it for me and she made my father is a baseball player, right? And my father is a baseball coach and she literally made my dad's uniform for my Cabbage Patch Kid,
That's
right?
incredible.
And so I named my Cabbage Patch Kid after my dad.
I love that. That's
Yeah, I
hilarious.
don't think
What's
he
your
was so
dad's
happy
name?
about that. Alan.
That's
We have the
awesome.
same name, but he goes by our middle name, which is Alan.
Uh,
It's way too
you
much
have
fun.
wait, Daniel Bobby Allen Tuttle?
Daniel is my
Roberts.
Hebrew name. Robert.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Got
Robert
it.
Allen Tuttle the third.
The
Robert Allen
third.
Tuttle the third.
Hello. Okay. Don't
Exactly.
forget.
Royalty here.
Yes.
Royalty in the house.
And I just want to say good morning to Becky. She's here. She's such an amazing force in your life, and now in coming into mine, it's such a gift, and I'm so grateful to you for
She's
this
the best,
connection.
isn't she? Talk
And
about people also who really, really nurture you and really support you in every single way. You know,
mm,
Becky and I have known each other over half of our lives now, more than half of our lives now. And we were always that person for each other that was kind of like our cornerstone,
mm,
you know, no matter what, we always knew that there was a space that we could be real with each other. Becky was always so good at calling me out on my bullshit, you know? And she would always be like, oh, she would roll her eyes at me and she'd be like, oh, please, like, really, you have to, you know, pretend this way or do that or do that. She goes, I see right through you. You know what I mean? She
mm,
always, always, always does.
mm.
She's
Wow.
amazing. Betsy actually contributed. She said it was her best college friend Lauren who suddenly left this world, who I had the great honor of knowing as well.
Mm,
She was very very special. Yes,
mm,
thank you for sharing that, Betsy.
mm.
So many people in our lives that it's interesting, Ben, because we're giving the space,
Yeah.
right? We're giving the space right now to actually take a second to reflect and be in gratitude of those people who contributed to us, you know, and I'm curious if we hadn't created that space, would would we be thinking about those energies or those people today? Probably not, right? And
Probably not.
what
Yeah,
if
that's a great
we,
question.
you know what I mean?
Mm.
I mean, how cool is that? So also energetically think like I'm going to give you a little bit of metaphysical hocus pocus.
Bring it
So when
in.
you talk about someone, you're also connecting to them,
Mm.
right? Whether they're in this world or they're not in this world. So that energy that's brought up is an energy that's also brought up with that person wherever they may be in this world. So believe it or not, the likelihood that they are also thinking of you is also very, very great, right? Because of the connection.
Wow. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I sit here and I think, it's so random that I'm thinking of Miss Richards, my elementary school, middle school teacher, or my elementary school music teacher. Okay, could it also be so random that she's also maybe thinking about me too,
Mm.
right? And how often in your life have you like been thinking about somebody and then you went to grab a phone and it was like, oh, a Facebook request from, and you're like, no way, I was just thinking about that person,
That
right?
happened.
And
My
so,
yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of
yeah, no, no,
stories.
go.
Well, I was just thinking one of my close friends, Mark Citadino. I reunited with him from NYU like 20 years later in LA, and he said that he had basically married his high school sweetheart, and it happened by accident because she had like submitted herself for a job he was casting, and she was like, "Ooh, Mark Citadino, whoa, hud," and then like he was like, ooh, of course I'm blanking on her name right now. It's like, ooh, her, and then like clicked on her, and then like they ended up dating, and now they're married and have two kids. And it's there's so many intuitions that we have like that, and I keep hearing people say, oh well, I'm not intuitive, or I'm intuitive, but this person isn't intuitive. And one thing I love about Daniel that he's really taught me, that you've taught me, Daniel, is that we all are, and how to really tap into that. And so I just
Yeah.
love giving away and sharing tools to do that because it's been so exciting for me. It's just like this a whole new world, and we all have that, and it's such a beautiful thing. So, if you
Awesome.
don't, that's probably because you or someone has told yourself that, oh, that's not me, that's someone else, right? And so as we
Or that
say
you're
the
wrong.
names, yeah, of the people who
Hmm.
said that you can do anything, the reason I love to ask that is to remember what that felt like and who that was, and that, you know, if you could tap into that voice and nurture that voice, then what would you do? You know, if you really
Yeah.
could do anything, because secret, you can, right?
Uh,
It's all in creation. And Daniel, you said that at the beginning, and I love the words you've taught me around out creating. You know, how can you out create your life? And I actually outed myself yesterday. I've been trying on different names for what kind of coach I am, and people want to know. It's, you know, I don't love labels, but I keep coming to creation coach,
that's so
and
cool.
because I think we really can create anything with people, and we can. And you know, I know I'm living proof that I can go through hell and have, you know, live multiple deaths and lives in the same life and still live my dream and teach other people to do the same. And it's because people have taught me, and there's simple easy tools that work, and you're one of the greatest teachers for me right now. And it's so amazing
Hmm.
that I also get to call you like one of my best favorite friends. And,
Thank
you know,
you.
where are we not asking and learning from those people around us because of our egos?
Yeah. You know, Ben, also it reminds me too, it's like, you know, in some way, and I've said this before, but I'm just going to say it again because now we're talking about it in like almost a different term. You know, where in our lives, I'm speaking for myself, where in my life was I asking for you to come into my life,
Hmm.
right? Because of a demand that I'm creating for myself,
Hmm.
right? And this moment, right, guys, everything is a manifestation. Everything that shows up in your life is a manifestation of something that you've thought about, that you've asked for, or that you've created in the past.
Hmm.
And so for forever, I was looking for this space to collaborate with another awesome man who had the desire to also share this energy with everyone. And look what shows up. And you showed up. And
Hmm.
you know, it's no different because like we are so much alike in so many ways. Like I recognize the symmetry, the what do you call it? The synergy between the two of us. And I recognize like there's no way in hell that you and I have not known each other in a zillion lifetimes before. You know what I mean? And it's just like we have that connection where we're like, oh my God, yeah, totally.
As soon as
And
you said that, I just got like emotional. I was like, you like hit something deep. I'm like, oh, yep, definitely that was true.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I love it.
Synchronicity. Yeah, that's a great word. I've always been trying to look for that synergy, synchronicity. So apparently we both know Yo Prince Michael. Michael's Instagram.
Michael,
I can't
aw, that's
Michael
awesome.
Kareen.
Of
He's an
course,
actor.
of
Michael and I have
course.
worked together.
No
Gosh, I
way.
can't even remember the jobs we did together. It's so long ago, but this is just
How
awesome.
freaking cool is that?
Yes.
So great to see you, Mike. That's awesome.
Yeah, I love
Yes,
that.
exactly. So many times. Of course. I mean,
What
your
a
picture's
beautiful
like this
world.
big, but I know exactly who you are.
Michael
I
just
know.
came into my life like this week on
Oh
the
yeah?
algorithms of it was like suggested friends. I was like, the fuck out, Michael, yes, add friend, what's up? You know, I love that.
I've known him for like 10 years,
Wow.
actually. Yeah. We've worked
That's
together many, many times. Yeah.
gosh, Daniel, we might have like worked next to each other and never known it.
We probably did. We
It's
probably did.
so, you know, people are like, oh, it's such a small world. I mean, it is a small world. We are all that connected. You know, we really
Uh-huh.
are. And
Yeah, of course.
I live in the village of Rhinebeck. There's 800 people here. And I mean, it's just wild how I ran
You're
into
super
somebody
connected.
here who lives like hours away, you know, and he had never been here. And I was like, what are you doing here? What are you know, it's just, it's like that. And when you start asking for it, like, be careful because you might
Uh-huh.
actually receive it if you're ready.
For
Um,
sure.
and Daniel, you've been teaching me a lot about traveling and tapping into my intuition. I realized recently, like, I have always these intense dreams, and I always thought it was something wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I understood after like 9/11 and PT and understanding my PTSD. That's how my subconscious has worked things out. But now I'm actually understanding that I travel in my dreams, and
Yes.
the traveling, I really go into places, and I realize it doesn't always have to be a traumatic thing. Like if I think of it, a lot of my dreams have, what you could call feels like anxiety, or there's those performance anxiety dreams, and all those different things. But like if you're an actor, most of the time, or ever been a waiter, it's like you have 10 million tables and you don't know where anything is, or you're going on and you don't know any of your lines or whatever. Um, that's all been coming back into my life. But also just I go visit places, and I go visit these worlds, and I go back to them over and over and over again. And I used to really be afraid of that. And it's something I'm actually now embracing now, and trying to learn from, and see what this is teaching me, and talking about it. Because
You
it
and I have
felt
to have this
almost traumatic.
conversation. Yeah,
And
yeah, I
it
have the
was,
same exact,
you
Ben.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm going to like different planets and galaxies.
Yeah. Except sometimes I have different versions of this world here, like the world in which you were like on Broadway, but in my living room at the same time.
I love that.
And you were like,
That's
"Ah."
I wanna live in that world.
And wait. Weren't like 2 weeks later, yeah, 2 or 3 weeks later, weren't you in a reading of a musical? Was it a musical or
Uh,
no? The reading you
uh-uh.
just did.
Was it
Okay.
musical? No,
Okay.
no.
Um, anyway, okay. So Billy Coin's also here. Rob Graham. Mosibat says, who are you? I just followed you yesterday, man, Curtis. Well, apparently we're supposed to know each other, so welcome. You'll get to know me soon.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Um, Daniel, how shall we leave these beautiful humans?
Well, I feel so warm and fuzzy and all gushy today, thinking about all of those amazing people that have inspired me and contributed to me being who I am today. What if we did this? I have one. What if today we actually allowed ourselves to be the invitation in the
Hmm.
space to be that energy in that space for somebody else?
Hmm.
So how can you, oh, what do they call it? Pay it forward? Like how would you pay it forward in your life today, that energy, so that maybe you could be the invitation for someone in 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years that says, you know what? Whatever
Hmm.
Ben, that guy I met, whether he's in, the toy store or the gym, he said something to me that I will never forget, right? I remember always, I used to have, there was this one taxi cab driver in New York when I was at a really, really low point in my life. And I was so pissed off that I had to get up and go to work in the morning. And I was so late, and I grabbed my stuff, I jumped in a cab. I was managing a restaurant on Park Avenue. And I got in the car and I just was like, take me to 18th and Park. And he looked up at me
Hmm.
in the mirror, and he looked at me and he said, my friend, behind very dark clouds is a very bright sun. And I swear to God, I have never forgotten that man. And in that moment, it was exactly what I needed to hear. Behind very dark clouds is a very bright sun. And I tell you, it changed my day immediately. And so I wonder, how could we each individually be an invitation for someone today to change their day, to change their life, to change their reality, to awaken them, to excite them, and to create more goodness in the world, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
What about that?
I love it. I love it.
Amazing.
Let's pay it
And I
forward.
love you.
Wow,
Exactly.
it's just, gosh, so much beautiful. I'm present to a lot of love and gratitude right now. I love you, Daniel. Thank you
I
for
love you,
this
Ben.
gift.
I love you so much, for sure. Thank
And
you.
I just want to share this comment. Michael said, I feel like strangers have the ability to have the biggest impact on people. Perhaps it's just being extra nice, smiling more, holding doors, saying hi, seeing how people are. I love that.
Exactly.
I used to
Exactly.
look every homeless person in the eye that I could in New York, and just smile and say, like, hi, or good
Have a good day.
morning, or bless you, or hang in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, And I started doing that to police officers too, because they were people who I felt the most resistance towards, and to kind of melt
Uh-huh.
those barriers and realize that there are humans underneath every piece of armor, right? And so
That's
just it was
beautiful.
something I did in New York, for myself, and I just want to invite you all today as you spread this love, to just know that that one thing, that one smile, that one eye contact, that one gesture really can melt walls and barriers for people in such magic ways that you'll never know. And then they take that with them into their lives. It plants these incredible seeds. So if anything's landing today, if you're thinking of anyone, tag them in this. We said write the name of that person that inspired you, but why don't you tag them if you can find them in this, or share this
Ooh,
with them, and so that we can keep these messages going, right? So that we can keep this positive medicine and the algorithms alive. So thank you so much for joining us, and please come join us next Wednesday. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. This is a
yes.
podcast coming soon. So get your podcast thumbs ready
That's right.
and have an amazing, amazing day and week.
Guys, have an amazing day, amazing week. We'll see you next week. Ben, thank you as always. You are Betsy says you are very special. No wonder the two of you become such close friends. It's very
Mm,
true.
mm.
Oh, stop. You're going to make me cry. You always bring it out of me, Ben Curtis.
Amen, brother. So
Amen.
grateful. Much love. Have a beautiful day. Happy hump day. Go create.
Go create
Much
and
love.
procreate too. Why not?
Okay,
Who
sure.
cares?
Okay.
Whatever makes you happy. I love it. Bye, guys.
Bye.